some skelly work. Jarrett's back getting skelly work this week, so that's good. Getting his timing back, and really like the progress our guys are making. We got some young guys that are getting some opportunities, which is really good for them. And the thing that we got to do is just continue to each day, go to work and build off the day before. And sometimes, we're kind of done with install now, so we're just trying to polish up and give them different looks on our base offense. And I think we're making really good progress, and looking forward to Saturday and getting to another scrimmage so we can, kind of really evaluate some guys in a game type atmosphere. I think that's what it's about. Even though it's controlled scrimmage, it's more than just drills and stuff like that. So it gives you an opportunity for those guys to play in a game setting, and that's the best tool to evaluate guys, I think. And looking forward to that on Saturday. All right. Any questions?
Chip, what your takeaway from last Saturday, that first scrimmage?
I thought we did some good things up front. We had some young offensive linemen that got a lot of work, and obviously they're going against a good front every day. After watching it, I thought we'd made some progress there. Disappointed we had too many turnovers, put the ball on the ground with 3 interceptions. Not good to do that. But overall, I was really pleased with the O-line and the progress that they made, and that was kind of their first live action too, in a scrimmage setting. So that was good. I thought our pace was pretty good, which was important. A lot of times when you get to a scrimmage, then guys kind of slow down, right? The quarterback stands back there and he's not assertive, and the offensive line, they won't get down, and everybody's hollering, get down, get down, get down, all that stuff. So we didn't have a lot of that. Just disappointed in the turnovers, and other than that, I thought it took away from the scrimmage. My takeaway from it was we made some progress.
Chip, where's the competition at center and right tackle in particular, especially at center? But now you're down to, one healthy guy. We saw Tucker out there, non-contact, Nick's out.
Right.
Just where do things stand with those two?
All 3 of those guys will still be in the competition. Obviously, we don't play for a while, which is good, but I thought Nick was making a lot of progress. I really did. He had a really good scrimmage. That's one of the guys I was referring to in the O-line. I think Tucker Brown is a solid guy that's played a lot, so you like that. He's got experience, and I think that's always important. You can't underestimate experience, and Tucker brings that to us. And then Caleb Kim, I thought, made progress too, and now he's running with the first group and getting some really good work. And for him, that's really good experience. So there is still a competition there. It'll go all the way into fall camp, I would think, and especially with some injuries now. And then at right tackle, it's kind of a combination. I think Austin Troxell's been a really bright spot for us. I really think he's made some progress. As a guy that came in, a highly recruited guy, that had some injury in high schools and stuff like that. So I really like what he did on Saturday. Calvin Ashley's very talented, continues to develop. He's extremely athletic, and obviously he's just catching up with the speed of the game. But the right tackle competition will be another. Really, to be honest with you, James, there's going to be a competition all the way across the front. It seems like maybe the guards, those 2 guards have played a lot, and Tega's played a lot. So, but we're still trying to create that competition every day.
How has it been made more difficult just with all the injuries you've had to deal with on offense, with 2 receivers down, Cedric Jackson non-contact, obviously Nick, and then all the other guys in orange jerseys? Or how have you combated that? What have you been doing?
Well, and then our quarterback too. So you're talking about in the passing game, timing's important. But the one thing we kind of look at it as it gives an opportunity for us to really evaluate some other guys that maybe wasn't getting reps. For instance, at quarterback, Jarrett being limited, now that's created a lot of opportunities for Joey Gatewood, which, how much would he get if Jarrett and Malik both were going? I don't know. So we kind of came into this because we knew way back this was going to happen. So it's been really good for Joey, and I think at wideout, I think that's, you got to turn it into a positive and let those guys that are getting some reps now get some work and evaluate them. And then you kind of know, because one thing we do know is some of the guys that we're missing, they played some for us. So those guys, you kind of got an idea what they can do.
When you lose 2 of your top receivers, explosive guys, Eli
Right.
and Will, and maybe not have them next season, how does that affect you when you're going into summer? And are you telling these young receivers that are coming in, hey, we're probably going to count on you more than we were expecting?
Oh, yeah. You sign guys these days, and you anticipate they'll get an opportunity to play early. And a lot of them want that anyway. But obviously, sometimes the situation creates more opportunity maybe than you anticipated. And you're right. That's going to create some opportunities for those guys, and also some guys that are here right now that maybe weren't getting as many reps. So again, we're going to turn it into a positive and get some guys some reps and see who can play.
It'll change once those guys arrive, Chip. What do the 2 and 3 positions look like? Obviously, Ryan, I know is there, but is Griffin the only 3 you have, right? Who else is
Well,
there.
we could play with a bigger set too. Maybe play Sal there some. That we can do some different things to get different guys there. We have played Griffin there some too. Kind of each group, we just play different personnel groups and still get in the same sets that we would get in with Will or whatever. But you're right, Ryan's back now. He's solid. I like what he's doing there, and again, we're just trying to piece it together and get some guys some reps that like maybe wasn't going to get some.
Chip, speaking of backup wide receivers, what have you seen out of Marquise McClain and Shedrick Jackson so far?
I thought Shedrick was really making, for a freshman, getting here early, that was big for him. He was really making some progress. And, you can tell he was well coached in high school, came from a really good program. He was kind of ahead of the game, maybe because of that, and was doing a great job competing and, just try to get him back as quick as we can. Marquise. Marquise is doing better. He's getting good. I think he's made some progress and done some good things. He's still very talented. Obviously, you know that. You've seen him. And for him, it's just continuing to improve and kind of tighten up on the details of the position.
You talk about the running back competition.
Yeah, that we're still rotating those guys through. I think Cam and Malik, our two veteran guys, veteran guys that have played the most. Those guys have done a nice job. I think they're continuing to improve. You kind of got, as a coach and maybe the quarterback, you got some confidence in them because they played, right? So I think those guys are continuing to grow. I think Booby Whitlow's continuing to get better and better and better. He's a young guy that needs some reps. Devin Barrett's looked good at times. Asa Martin's he's got some natural instincts running between the tackles, so I really like what he can do. And then I noticed today he got out and caught a couple option routes, so that was good. Overall, I think that group, like I've told you before, that group is a talented group. We just got to figure out what combination we're going to play with. You're not going to play with all of them at once probably, and it'll come down to who you trust the most in pass protection, which is huge for me, from the coordinator seat, that we got guys that we trust will block the right people. And a lot of times for young backs, I think it's more about playing without the ball than with the ball. When you hand them the ball, they're pretty good. When they have to run routes and have to protect, understand, the coverage and the fronts, then sometimes it takes a while. But I like their progress.
When you got in the scrimmage situation, the defensive line make it tougher
Oh, yeah.
on those running backs?
No question. Those guys are really talented, good players. And when you have a young and experienced offensive line, you're gonna have some battles like that. But we hit a few runs the other day that like I told you, I was kind of pleasantly surprised with that group up front. And I think sometimes you get into a pace, and that helps a little bit because those guys maybe are tired. But you got to get that first down to get in pace, the first one. And we did that a few times. And again, it came down to turnovers for us. We shot ourselves in the foot by turning the ball over.
Coach
Go ahead.
Coach Malzahn mentioned that he's wanting a depth chart from all of his assistants by the end of spring. And when it comes to the running back spot, could you foresee at the end of spring be able to say, this is our guy heading into the summer, or do you think it's going to be difficult and have to be settled in August?
I think you're going to try to at least have two or three guys that have kind of maybe separated themselves. You'd like to have a one or two and all that. I don't know that we'll get to that. We might. But I think at least when you're trying to rep 5 or 6 guys, you'd like for at least some separation in there. Maybe get your top 2 or 3 guys. I think that's probably what we'll aim for.
I don't know how much Wildcat you guys run in the spring, but when you lose a guy like Carrion, is obviously really good at
Yeah.
Who possesses the skill set? Obviously, I'm guessing Malik because he's a quarterback.
Mhm.
I mean, who possesses the skill set maybe among the natural running backs?
That's we don't do much of that in the spring. A little bit, but that we've played over the years here and other places I've been. We've sometimes used a running back and sometimes used a backup quarterback. It just kind of depends. Chandler Cox was our number 2 last year that kind of did a little bit of that. So as we get into that stuff, we'll probably try to figure out who we want to get the reps there. It could be a quarterback or a running back.
What have you seen out of Malik Miller to kind of take the next step in there? He didn't get as many carries last year.
Yeah, I think Malik has gotten much better as far as pass protection. That's one of the things that I feel really confident in him. He's a solid runner that obviously has been around for a while, so I think any experience he's gotten is a benefit. I just think he's kind of a steady force. He's just kind of out of that group, he's kind of the older veteran now, and I think he's continuing to improve.
Chip, when Gus places an enormous value on the spring,
Mhm.
especially at the quarterback position,
Mhm.
when you have a starting quarterback who's not
Yeah.
taking part much, I mean, he's not even in shells, he's clearly not going to
Right.
play 11 on 11. I'm
Right.
assuming he won't play on A-Day. What can he still value out of these couple of weeks?
You talking about Jarrett? Yeah, he's actually, I think, been able to stand behind and watch and see things from a different perspective. And I really do think, from a coach's perspective, he did a great job. Before he was throwing it all the first 2 or 3 weeks, he did a great job of kind of being another coach on the field with the young quarterbacks, especially Joey. He would go with Joey, help with communication. All those things, I think, helps continue his development as far as the offense goes and the defenses we're seeing. So, that's kind of the way we approached it was, hey, you kind of, take that next step in the film room and be able to be a coach on the field. And I think he's done that. And now he's throwing some. So I think he'll be right where we need him to be.
Malik Willis obviously was electric at
Yep.
times last year.
Yep.
We heard he had like 3 interceptions in the scrimmage. What did you see from him in the scrimmage, and just how's his decision making as a passer right now?
It's better. He's definitely improved. He was here early last year, and there were some frustrating days with him in last spring for sure. I think because he's been getting the reps with the ones now, that he's developed. He's gotten better. And now Saturday there was a couple things here and there, but he didn't play terrible at all. He just, now since he's running with the ones, I guess in my mind I'm holding him to a higher standard. He's not Malik Willis, the young guy in my mind anymore. He's played a little, like you said. And we just hold him to a high standard. But he made a lot of good plays Saturday, too. Just a couple of decisions he'd like to have back, I know.
Chip, just something kind of recruiting related with the injuries and stuff. You do have, as a team, you have one opening left for the fall at the least, and you could get one grad transfer. I know you were looking on the offensive line. Has the injuries at receiver in any way changed the outlook from the offense, potentially pursuing graduate transfers this offseason?
Not right now, probably not. I mean, I think you always keep the door open for the possibilities. You didn't go into the spring anticipating what the things that have happened to us. So you're right, there might be some consideration, but I think we'll just kind of evaluate that at the end of spring. And again, sometimes you make the best decision on the information you have at that time, and we'll just have to see how it plays out.
Is Nate Craig ready to step up and potentially see his role expand?
I hope so. He played pretty well toward the end of the season, had a couple touchdowns maybe, and I think he's had a good spring. He has been a bright spot. I think he's improving and getting more comfortable, becoming a little more vocal too, I think, which is Nate's a quiet kid if you get to know him. So I'd like to see him be a little more vocal, and I'm hoping that we'll see that this year.
Do you think he might
When
get
you go into the spring, do you have this is what we want to, this is where we want to be when we're done? Specific things you want to accomplish?
Really our goal is to come out of spring and really everybody understand the base offense. That's the whole goal. We're not really scheming or trying to against the defense, or we're not, it's not like planning for a game. So for us, it's want all our guys to have an understanding of the offense, and that's even more so now because of the situation we're in with some guys missing and banged up or whatever. So I think for us, we got to continue to make sure that we teach the fundamentals of the offense in detail, and hopefully when the guys do their own work this summer, they'll build off that, and then we'll get in the fall.
Would you like to have Noah Igbenogany back at receiver?
Oh, sure, I would. I mean, he's a talented guy. He's done well over there at DB too. So, I think Noah's approach is kind of like mine. Whatever's best for our football team. I know we lost a really good corner last year, and he's done well over there for sure. But we'll see how it turns out.
Do you anticipate getting him back on offense?
Well, he was back the other day, so he's back and forth some. Today, he was on defense today, but yeah, he comes back and forth, and I tell you what, he's looked good over there at corner some, and we'll see how it goes.
How tough is that to do, and is he a guy that could possibly do some of that even into a season?
I don't know. Maybe it's too early to tell. I think that's really hard to do in the SEC for sure, but I think for us, it was just a matter of how we try to evaluate him. Can he really do that? Because our team's got a need there, especially before we had the injury. So we'll kind of probably reevaluate everything after spring.
All right, Coach.
That it? All right.
Appreciate it.